Okay, now we're getting back to a view of showing both the monitor and how the painting's progressing compared to the photo. And comment if you'd like to see everything close up like I just had in the previous segment, a few minutes before there. Just trying to mix it up so you can, after a while, see the progression. Like I said, right now I'm going to mix up the shadow tones and get those in there. Of course, they're, like I said, I want to, as closely as I can, get a sky blue, baby blue. Because even if I get it too oversaturated, I'm using ultramarine blue, by the way. If I get it too oversaturated, it doesn't really matter because I can always desaturate. I got my cat orange on the palette. I'd rather go a little strong, really let it sink into my thinking of how the painting's going before I kill down the tone. So I'm just putting little dabs over what's there and seeing how I like it. And of course these are going to be a little darker in tone than this because this is catching all kinds of light. This is a little bit, but I think you got some reflections coming off the grass and everything. This shadow is going to be a little bit lighter. So going to mix in just see what we think of that. And I want to spend a little time here because I don't get it really well or close enough. Again, at this point, I'm using the reference photo mostly for, I mean, yes, there's detail, but the photo's not that great and the monitor's not that great. But in a way, I'm winging it, but I'm trying to remember, you know, obviously I looked at the scene, I've been by the scene before, and there's things stick with you. So I'm going to pop in this shadow. And I'm going around, I could paint this door back in, obviously, but I'm going to use those as shadows from the threshold on the door. I'll go back over those in a moment, but what I'm really looking to get is that tone next to the lightness of the house. And I'm thinking, I'm liking this. So I got the house over here, and I'm stealing from my other pile with the straight blue to mix in if I'm thinking this is going too gray. So this is looking nice, I like that. I can hear the wind blowing out there. It's not terrible, but it's also still very chilly. That's nice. I'm liking that a lot. Okay. Sometimes when I'm done painting for the day, like if I know I'm going to come back to a painting, or, you know, obviously I have to come back to painting sometimes, I'll leave it at a point that I'm really excited about. Like, wow, this is going really good. Because then, you know, it really fires you up for the next painting session. All right, let's see what we get. And again, I apologize for not getting a video out sooner, but like I said, I don't want to just put out a video to put out a video. You know, I wanted something really nice, and being distracted with the holidays and the election and everything, it is what it is. So here I am now. I want you to enjoy watching the video and learn something from it, hopefully, rather than just silly little things. Okay. Very nice. Now, you have some discoloration in the clapboard siding. Well, hold on, I gotta paint one more little shadow. Well, actually, let me do the shadow of the trim. And really do just a little bit more blue. I'm really liking how this is popping here. And then there you go. Just do this. So you see how I lost the undercut there of the, no biggie. Just got to cut a little darker in. Cut back under there. No big deal. No big deal. I'm actually going to do a little bit there too. A little bit here. Yeah, going to have to. Now see the problem we're having here, and I could wipe it out, but it's so small an area, I'm pretty sure I can control it just by deepening some color. But this is light paint all the way around, so I'm trying to make it darker and get a little tricky by loaded up some paint. One stroke, don't touch again. Okay, there we go. Get some shadow into there. Lost a little bit, just a touch of the whiteness right up against the shadow. There we go. Tempting. You see that? I was tempted to go, but now I'm loaded up more paint. Get that strong pop right next to the... All right. Okay. I want to get the side of the building here. This is doing okay here. Ultramarine blue, burnt umber, heavy on the blue side. Dancing around where the flowers and stuff are going to go. Just going to lighten that a bit. Just a bit. Variation there. There we go. Okay, whoops. Of course, I totally forgot the... So funny. The window on the side of the main house there. I'll get that in right now. Silly me. Leaving room for the mullion. Not perfectly, but you'll see in a moment. Trying to follow some touch of perspective there. And now when I come in with my detail brush and that dark shadow bluish color, and cut across like so. There's your window. Okay. couple areas I want to touch up there that have gotten a little crazy with the white siding. Is touch up some areas here, here, here. Touch up that just a bit. Nothing too crazy. This especially, that. Clean up these shadows here. Being careful not to extend past the width of the window. Looks pretty good. I'm just going to take a little bit of black. Okay. Now, the door again. Soften up some of these lines. A little more, taking some shadow color, dragging over that, just trying to diminish it just a bit. Part. Sometimes you just don't talk, you just do. Just suggesting pattern of the doorknob. Okay, now I think I am ready to start working on some of the other colors. And also, something I'm using too, just so you know, is turpentine. I have a dirty jar that I rinse off in initially, then a jar with a little screen in it to rinse again once I get all the initial color off. So that's that. Okay, now I'm going to work on my grass. And all the other colors before have a little bit floating around on the palette. I unfortunately don't have two cameras to show you that, but I'm sure most of you already know that from other videos or my previous videos, that I always save a little of the mother colors that I call them. Color I mixed for this, the color I mixed for the roof, to modify and do things later. So, get situated here. Look at that. One last thing I got to do here real quick. This is how you can get distracted sometimes by working on too much. There's a little offset window right here. Perspective's a little... It's kind of nice sometimes if you get it right first shot, putting that in right over the wet paint. It works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. But get that in there. And of course I got to take my detail brush again with some of this color and cut through. See how this perspective's coming up a little bit here, coming up. This is going to be coming down just a bit. Might be exact. I mean, if I was to draw this as a architectural rendering, I'm sure there'll be discrepancies in perspective. But hey, you know what? I don't get too caught up in that. Now I'm using a little lighter. I'm going to do the underneath of the eave also. Making it a little bit lighter for now to to show the reflected light bouncing up in there. It's a little too light though. I can dirty it up just a bit. There. Just dance it around there. Be good enough for now. There's that. Same on this. Got a couple strokes extra because I've turned my brush around, you know, my hand to get both sides of the paint there. Not sure how long this is going to go, but hope you're able to watch the whole thing. And these parts up here that I'm doing with the other edge of the roof there. Clean that up when I paint the sky. Okay, now let's get some grass going here. Good start. I'm going to start with doing a little phthalo, cooler blue to yellow. Excuse me. Obviously too saturated, as you can see. Stealing some of that with a little white, a little more of the yellow. A little more white. Test. To me, still too acidic. A little bit of red. Cad red light. I'm going to gray it down. A little more white. Put it next to what I just did. Probably can't tell from there, but it is grayed down, same value. And let me do a little more white and a touch of yellow. Steal some of the original color that I made there. Mix again. So now I have 3 piles of color. The original acidic one, the one I just made, and now yet another one that I like. So let's get that in there. I use this round, little oil, little paint, and I'm actually going to scrape out the acidic scrape, wipe off my palette knife, take a Kleenex, and just take off the bulk of that. You're not going to be able to get it all. Don't wipe around too much with the Kleenex because it'll disintegrate. And again, I don't want to just fill in. And I'm trying to follow strokes. Because what I'm going to attempt to do is variations in the green, yet still have some directional lines in the paint. This is where I can clean up the edges against the house there. Let me step back for a second, view that. And I'm trying to zoom in with the iPad here, like I am right now. Hopefully this works. But here I go. Just introducing a little bit of orange into the green that I mixed. A little bit. Yellow. Get a lighter. Just variations in the green. Just to liven it up a bit. And I also will go and cross grain a little bit here and there. Now a little bit of blue to make it like a blue. Just to have some variations. Again, barely touching. Trying to keep it fresh somewhat. Now I'm going to work on the shadow. See how that goes. I want to check, see if this recorded properly. Okay, good. The zoom in's working okay. Not much of, I do okay with the text stuff. I get by, but not perfect. But do let me know if people are now hearing sounds when maybe if I'm turned way low like this, I'm turned away, you can still hear me. That'll give me some insight on how to do these videos better. All right, let's work on some shadow. Blue mixed into the first batch of gray down, darker green. A little bit of black. Some yellow pale. Compare. And I'm going to start with that and modify it lighter as I need it. A little bit of oil. Get it flowy. Flowy. Whoops. Wow, see, I'm totally blanking out here. Do a little bit of that. Hold on one second. Gotta do one thing here. Forgot about the grass back here. Brighten that up just a bit. Okay. Boy, it's easy to forget things sometimes when you're concentrating on one part of the painting. So, okay, to try to save time on the video, I'm going to block the rest of this in and get back to you. So, hold on. Okay, I've got the breaking away light there. As you can see, it's different from photo, but I like, kind of liking. I might streak out some parts Yeah, I think that's a good idea now that I'm thinking about it. Having it all closed in right here may lead off in a couple places. Just to turning my Kleenex. There we go. Now I'm going to reestablish a few areas of the light. Picking up, I can just pop it in there. And I think my thing earlier, I take back now. I rubbed a little too much with the Kleenex. Towels are better. Okay, little bright. And now I'm going to use a little bit of the darker green, even though I want to suggest the lightness of sunlight hitting the grass is. If I put this light tone in here, it's going to pop off too much. So I'm trying to use a little darker green and suggest little sky holes. Just playing around how I need to manipulate the brush. Just a bit, picking up some of the darker green. Watching the edges up there. Okay. Just a hint more, break up this a little bit. Soft edges there. Soft edges. Okay, now let's get some sky tone in there. Well, actually, sorry, I want to establish the background green. I'm using that acidic green that I had before mixed with some burnt umber, ultramarine, cad yellow medium. Establish some darks first using that new brush I have, which I'm really liking a lot. I think when I get down to Portland, I'll be buying some more of those. It always amazes me sometimes how we as artists, you followers out there, and people watching this video as an artist, taking something blank and drawing something out of it. This panel, you know, it's just a panel. Now you got this moment in time that I'm trying to capture. Really pretty special. I really enjoy it. So, onward. Cutting in, accentuating. Now again, I'm trying to not use this green as a flat tone. Let some of that umber come through, because I'll go back with variations of other greens, more gray greens, brighter greens, to give life to the background. I don't want to just get carried away with one tone of green across there. And mixing all my greens, of course, with my palette, as opposed to two greens. Nothing wrong with that. I've used Viridian as a convenience color before. No big, especially if I'm painting like lobster boats in Portland. Tealy colored tops they have sometimes. Viridian seems to help, or phthalo. So, kind of getting this cut around pop off the edge of the and the shadow on the rooftop and the shadow in the background of the photo, kind of comparatively close, but I changed it a bit and accentuated the background to be dark in that one spot to give some air. So just kind of get our trees in here. And just splitting that line just a bit to soften it just a hair. The line between the house and the subtle, but I think it works. Now once I get some of these in here, I'm really pretty happy with this painting so far. Again, trying to create randomness to the when I cut in with the sky, I'll get some soft edges back there, so got a plan. Now taking cad yellow straight, like there's other types of trees. I didn't rinse off brush from previous, keeping it on there. Pick up more cad yellow light, putting it on there, dancing it around. Picking up some of the dark green to come from behind. There we go. And actually taking some burnt umber, a little bit of black, and study that for a moment. Okay, back at it. All right. Working this tree up here. Getting the darker tone, some umber. A little more umber, a little rich ultramarine. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of phthalo with cad yellow medium for other parts here. And cad orange, cad yellow light. So just that morning light coming up there. See how that works. Maybe some just trying out different ideas for foliage. Liking that. I'm trying to get a little more dark over in here. First I'm going to put in light to show dark. Cad yellow light. Cad orange. Haven't cleaned my brush yet. Maybe the light sitting there. Wipe off the brush a little bit. Cad orange, cad yellow light, a little bit of white. Wipe that out. Take some black, ultramarine blue, cad yellow medium, and the original dark green color, a little more black, a little more umber, black, ultramarine blue, original dark green color. So try to separate some darks. And I'm just going to add some more cad orange back here. Maybe a little variety in here. Okay, let's get the sky in there now. And for this, I'm just going to use experiment with some phthalo blue and white. Modify it as needed for intensity and all that good stuff. Then I think this will be pretty much finished up, but let's get some phthalo blue on here. More white. Touch it to the canvas there. Try it. The canvas, the panel, and try it against different areas. Yeah, I like that. Okay, now I'm going to block it in. A little oil. Leaving some spaces here and there to suggest a little bit of cloud. I think, but honestly, there's so much busyness going on. I'm going to close it up here and just put in this sky. Now I've got some base tone in there. Take this nice new brush, make sure it's clean. Using a Kleenex only to really get the moisture out of the brush. A little bit of oil. And start cutting around. Shapes. That are important. as you can see, I don't go into the green. Probably could have done this two different ways, but I like doing it this way. Cut. A little more. And I'm actually manipulating the previous strokes with this smaller round. We're almost concluded here. What I'm going to attempt to do now is get some of those sky holes in. Key here is 1 or 2 strokes, then you're out of there, so to speak. Using a little bit of darker phthalo inside the tree green because it's going to appear the same color as the outside because it's surrounded by dark. Touch, pull. Can't get away with too much here. Do the best we can. Now I will ever so slightly with a light touch manipulate those edges back there. Barely touching. And some notes look false like this here. Too much. Fresh paint. Okay, now I think minor stuff now, I think. Just taking this small round, suggesting going back to the original shingle type items. To see about bringing out a few, especially maybe near some darks. Probably not going to work super great, but we're going to give it a shot. And I think I'm going to call that done. Oh, for the house parts. Now let's touch in some of the flower beds, that sort of thing. This should be the finale here. Got some strong green. Just touching it in there, suggesting some flowers. Using some light yellow, the cad yellow light, to accentuate just little parts, nothing major. Nothing major. Go back to the darker green, a little umber in it. Now for the highlights, little touches of flowers.